Why some women seem to carry an invisible shield that narcissists just can't break. These are not ordinary women. These are rare empaths, blessed with a level of spiritual power that goes far beyond what the eye can see. Their presence alone can silence manipulation. Their intuition uncovers lies before words are even spoken. And their energy has the power to heal, yet also to destroy illusions. But here's the mystery. What exactly makes these empath women so powerful? And why do narcissists fear them more than anyone else? Today, we're diving into the 6 unseen marks that set them apart, the hidden signs that reveal a spiritual strength few will ever understand. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end, because the final mark is the one that completely shatters the narcissist's control. If this message resonates with you, don't just watch quietly. Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your story if you've faced a narcissist, and subscribe, because every week we uncover the truths that others are too afraid to speak. Now, let's step into the unseen world of the rare empath.
There is something extraordinary about rare empath women that words often fail to capture. They carry with them an invisible presence, a kind of hidden aura that seems to shift the entire atmosphere the moment they walk into a room. It's not about looks, titles, or the loudness of their voice. It is something deeper, something felt rather than seen, like an unseen current of energy flowing through them. People may not always understand why, but they feel it. A calmness, a safety, a sense of truth radiates from them, almost as if they are silently saying, "You are seen. You are understood." This unseen aura is what disarms narcissists instantly. While others may fall into confusion or manipulation, empath women stand in a quiet strength that leaves the narcissist unsettled. It is not a power born out of dominance or aggression, but one that emerges from purity, sincerity, and an unshakable connection to something higher. Narcissists thrive on control, on creating illusions, and on bending others to their will. But in front of an empath's aura, their tricks falter. Imagine someone holding up a mirror so clear that every false mask slips away, every hidden intention becomes obvious, and every shadow is reflected back. This is the power of the empath's unseen energy. The narcissist senses it even before words are exchanged. They may feel exposed, as if their deepest schemes have already been uncovered, and that awareness alone can throw them off balance. To the empath, it feels natural, nothing forced, nothing dramatic, just their authentic self shining through. To the narcissist, however, it feels threatening, because authenticity is the very thing they cannot stand against. This hidden aura is not only about protection from harm, but it is also about influence. Empath women carry a light that others gravitate toward, a kind of spiritual magnetism. Their presence soothes the anxious, comforts the broken, and awakens the unaware. It is not uncommon for people to feel lighter, more hopeful, or even healed after spending time with such a woman. This is because her aura does not only guard her from negativity, but also radiates healing energy outward. For narcissists, though, this very quality feels suffocating. They thrive in environments where confusion, fear, and dependency reign. But the empath's energy does the opposite. It brings clarity, peace, and independence. And when those qualities begin to spread, the narcissist loses their grip. What makes this aura so powerful is that it cannot be faked. It comes from years of carrying pain, yet choosing compassion, from seeing darkness, yet clinging to light, from feeling broken, yet learning to rise again, Rare empath women have walked through fires that could have destroyed them, but instead, those fires purified their spirit. What remains is an energy so genuine, so rooted in truth, that it shines brighter than any manipulation or deceit. This is why the narcissist is disarmed before them, not because the empath fights with the same weapons, but because she carries a power they can never touch. Her hidden aura speaks without words, guards without walls, and defeats without battle. It is her greatest gift and the narcissist's greatest weakness.
One of the rarest and most remarkable gifts that empath women carry is what can only be described as emotional X-ray vision. It is the ability to look beyond words, beyond appearances, and beyond the carefully crafted masks people wear, straight into the heart of their true intentions. While most people only notice what is said or done on the surface, the empath senses what lies underneath. It is as if emotions have their own frequency, and she is tuned in to every vibration. A smile might seem warm to others, but she feels the coldness hidden behind it. A compliment may sound sincere to the world, yet she hears the quiet echo of envy underneath. When someone's tone and energy do not align with their words, the empath picks it up instantly, even if she cannot explain how. This is her power, the ability to know when truth is missing, to sense manipulation before it even takes shape, and to read the invisible language of energy that most people overlook. For narcissists, this is terrifying. Their entire game relies on hiding their true self behind charm, charisma, and carefully calculated lies. They weave stories, twist facts, and project false realities to keep others trapped in confusion. But to the empath, these illusions are paper thin. She does not need evidence, arguments, or proof to know something is wrong. Her intuition tells her long before the truth comes to light. And what makes it even more powerful is that she rarely exposes what she sees immediately. She observes, she listens, she notices every inconsistency, storing it away in silence. This calm awareness alone weakens the narcissist's control, because while they believe they are winning the game, the empath already knows the ending. This emotional X-ray vision is not about judgment, it is about clarity. Rare empath women do not carry this gift to condemn others, but to protect themselves and those they care about. They can sense when someone's kindness is genuine, or when it is laced with self-interest. They can feel when love is real, or when it is a mask for control. They can walk into a room and instantly know who carries heavy burdens, who hides bitterness, and who radiates authenticity. It is not about reading minds, it is about reading hearts. And hearts cannot lie in front of an empath. What makes this gift even more unique is the way it sharpens over time. Many empath women develop it through painful experiences, being deceived, manipulated, or betrayed in the past. Each wound becomes a lesson, each heartbreak a sharpening of their vision. They may have once ignored their intuition, but eventually they learn to trust it completely. And when they do, nothing can escape their awareness. For narcissists, this is like facing a mirror that cannot be deceived, a presence that makes them feel naked even in their most polished disguise. The empath's emotional X-ray vision is more than perception. It is protection. It allows her to step away before harm can reach her, to guard her spirit from manipulation, and to break free from the lies that trap others.
While narcissists weave webs of illusion, she walks freely, guided by truth. And in the end, truth is the one thing no mask can survive.
There is a certain calm that rare empath women carry, and it is unlike anything most people ever experience. While the world around them may be filled with noise, conflict, and endless drama, they stand like a still river, steady, grounded, and unshaken. This calm is not the absence of pain or struggle, but rather the strength to remain centered in the middle of it. Life has tested them with storms, yet instead of breaking, they have learned how to bend. Instead of being consumed by the chaos around them, they anchor themselves in a peace that comes from within, a peace that no one can easily disturb. And this, more than anything, frustrates the narcissist. Because narcissists thrive on creating confusion and stirring emotional storms, yet their efforts fall flat in front of a woman who refuses to be moved. The unshakable inner calm of an empath is not weakness. It is power in its purest form. When others shout, she listens. When others panic, she breathes. When others lose themselves in anger or fear, she remains rooted in clarity. This does not mean she feels nothing. In fact, she feels everything deeply. But instead of letting those emotions control her, she channels them with wisdom. The narcissist, on the other hand, expects outbursts, expects tears, expects reactions they can feed on. Their tactics are designed to provoke, to draw energy from conflict, to thrive on the emotional responses of others. But when faced with an empath's calm, their fuel is cut off. Their tricks lose power. Their chaos collapses into silence. It is this silence that often unsettles the narcissist the most. They do not know what to do with someone who refuses to engage in their games. The empath's refusal to react, her choice to remain grounded instead of explosive, feels like an invisible shield they cannot penetrate. And so, the narcissist becomes restless, desperate, even reckless, trying harder and harder to provoke a reaction. But the rare empath woman has learned that her calm is her weapon. She does not need to fight back with the same energy. She wins by refusing to step into the battlefield at all. This calm is deeply spiritual. It comes from trust, trust in herself, trust in her intuition, and trust in the higher power that guides her. She knows that storms pass, lies collapse, and masks eventually fall away. Because of this, she does not waste energy on battles that do not serve her. Her calm allows her to see clearly, to act with wisdom, and to protect her spirit from being dragged into darkness. And that clarity alone is enough to defeat a narcissist because they cannot survive in the light of truth.
There is a certain calm that rare empath women carry, and it is unlike anything most people ever experience. While the world around them may be filled with noise, conflict, and endless drama, they stand like a still river, steady, grounded, and unshaken. This calm is not the absence of pain or struggle, but rather the strength to remain centered in the middle of it. Life has tested them with storms, yet instead of breaking, they have learned how to bend. Instead of being consumed by the chaos around them, they anchor themselves in a peace that comes from within, a peace that no one can easily disturb. And this, more than anything, frustrates the narcissist. Because narcissists thrive on creating confusion and stirring emotional storms, yet their efforts fall flat in front of a woman who refuses to be moved. The unshakable inner calm of an empath is not weakness, it is power in its purest form. When others shout, she listens. When others panic, she breathes. When others lose themselves in anger or fear, she remains rooted in clarity. This does not mean she feels nothing. In fact, she feels everything deeply. But instead of letting those emotions control her, she channels them with wisdom.
The narcissist, on the other hand, expects outbursts, expects tears, expects reactions they can feed on. Their tactics are designed to provoke, to draw energy from conflict, to thrive on the emotional responses of others. But when faced with an empath's calm, their fuel is cut off. Their tricks lose power. Their chaos collapses into silence. It is this silence that often unsettles the narcissist the most. They do not know what to do with someone who refuses to engage in their games. The empath's refusal to react, her choice to remain grounded instead of explosive, feels like an invisible shield they cannot penetrate. And so the narcissist becomes restless, desperate, even reckless, trying harder and harder to provoke a reaction. But the rare empath woman has learned that her calm is her weapon. She does not need to fight back with the same energy. She wins by refusing to step into the battlefield at all. This calm is deeply spiritual. It comes from trust, trust in herself, trust in her intuition, and trust in the higher power that guides her. She knows that storms pass, lies collapse, and masks eventually fall away. Because of this, she does not waste energy on battles that do not serve her. Her calm allows her to see clearly, to act with wisdom, and to protect her spirit from being dragged into darkness. And that clarity alone is enough to defeat a narcissist, because they cannot survive in the light of truth. In the end, the unshakable inner calm of rare empath women is not only their defense, but also their victory. It disarms those who try to manipulate, frustrates those who try to control, and exposes those who thrive on chaos. Where others are tossed about by emotional storms, she remains the steady ground. And it is that stillness, the kind that cannot be broken, that makes her more powerful than the narcissist will ever understand.
One of the most defining qualities of rare empath women is their ability to set boundaries without guilt. For a long time in their lives, many of them struggled with this. They gave endlessly, poured themselves into others, and carried burdens that were never theirs to bear. Their hearts were wide open, their compassion limitless, but this often left them drained, broken, and used. Over time, through pain and disappointment, they learned that love without boundaries is self-destruction. And so, they grew into women who know when to give, when to step back, and when to close the door completely. This transformation is not loud or dramatic. It does not come with shouting or arguments. It is silent, firm, and unshakable, a strength rooted in self-respect. The beauty of these boundaries is that they are not walls built from bitterness, but shields forged from wisdom. An empath woman can still love deeply, but now she knows that protecting her energy is a sacred act. She no longer feels guilty for saying no. She no longer feels the need to explain herself endlessly. She understands that not everyone deserves access to her heart, and that by guarding her spirit, she preserves the purity of her gift. Narcissists find this strength infuriating. Their greatest weapon is invasion, pushing limits, crossing lines, and demanding more than they deserve. But when faced with an empath who calmly says, "This is as far as you go," their power dissolves. This silent strength is not only protection, it is healing. Boundaries teach others how to treat her. They remind those around her that love is not exploitation, that kindness is not weakness, and that giving is not endless. She no longer bends until she breaks, and this refusal to be overextended is what keeps her spirit whole. To those who truly love and respect her, her boundaries are refreshing, even inspiring. To the narcissist, they are unbearable.
For the narcissist thrives only when limits are blurred, when control is total, when access is unrestricted. The empath's quiet refusal to surrender her energy blocks that cycle completely. What makes her boundaries powerful is their quietness. She does not need to shout, threaten, or justify. She simply lives by them, and those who cannot honor them find themselves falling away. Her silence speaks volumes. Her absence speaks louder than any confrontation could. And in that silence, the narcissist loses what they crave most: her energy, her attention, her presence. Rare empath women know that boundaries are not about building distance. They are about creating balance. They allow her to love without losing herself, to help without being emptied, to care without being consumed. And when she stands in this silent strength, she becomes untouchable to those who seek to drain her. The narcissist cannot cross a line that has been firmly drawn, no matter how clever their tactics. In the end, her boundaries are her shield, her sanctuary, and her quiet victory.
There's something mysterious about the way rare empath women move through the world. They don't need to raise their voice, they don't need to argue, and they certainly don't waste time proving a point. Instead, their very presence carries an unseen power, one that works like a mirror. This is what we call the spiritual mirror effect. When a narcissist steps into the space of such a woman, something unexpected happens. They don't see her weakness, they see their own reflection. Every hidden lie, every mask, every manipulative trick they've perfected, it all comes rushing back at them, not because she exposes it loudly, but because her spirit refuses to validate the illusion. Narcissists thrive on projection. They survive by making others feel small, guilty, or unworthy. But a rare empath woman doesn't absorb that energy. She reflects it. Without confrontation, without drama, her calm energy reveals the truth. The narcissist feels naked, seen, and cornered, not by anger, but by authenticity. This is why many narcissists secretly fear empaths. They can deceive others, but they can't deceive the mirror of truth that these women carry inside. This mirror effect is spiritual, not physical. It's not about revenge or shaming someone. It's about alignment. When light stands in the presence of darkness, the contrast becomes obvious. The empath doesn't even need to point it out. Her kindness, her calmness, her refusal to play games makes the narcissist's games look childish, even pathetic. That's why so often narcissists will either lash out or retreat when faced with an empowered empath. They cannot stand to see themselves clearly. For the empath, this effect is not always easy. It can be draining, even painful to reflect back such darkness. But this gift also protects her. By holding her boundaries, by remaining rooted in her spiritual truth, she creates a natural shield. Narcissists may try to draw her into battles, but they rarely win. They leave feeling frustrated, exposed, and powerless because their strongest weapon, manipulation, suddenly becomes useless. There is a quiet, almost unexplainable power that rare empath women carry, and it doesn't come from force or dominance. It comes from healing. Their very presence feels like a balm to the weary soul, a safe space where broken hearts can breathe again. This natural gift to heal is not something they try to perform. It flows out of them effortlessly. But here's where it becomes both a blessing and a weapon. This healing energy is the very thing that breaks the control of narcissists. Narcissists thrive in environments of confusion, pain, and dependency. They need their victims to feel weak, unworthy, and constantly off balance. But when an empath woman enters the picture, everything changes. Her aura soothes, her words restore, and her presence begins to mend what the narcissist worked so hard to break. Suddenly, the person who was once under the narcissist's spell starts to feel stronger, calmer, more aware. The invisible chains of manipulation begin to crack simply because her healing energy cannot coexist with their toxic control. This is why narcissists often fear or even resent empathic women. On the surface, they may try to charm or control them, but deep down they know the danger. Healing is the antidote to manipulation. While the narcissist wants to create wounds and dependency, the empath wants to mend and liberate. These two energies cannot mix. It's like light entering a dark room. The shadows don't argue, they simply disappear. But if healing gift isn't just about others, rare empath women also turn it inward. They understand the necessity of self-care, reflection, and spiritual cleansing. That inner healing keeps them from being swallowed by the narcissist's chaos. It gives them resilience, the ability to stand tall in the face of lies and cruelty. And when a narcissist tries to pull them into cycles of guilt or shame, their healing spirit becomes unshakable. They don't take the bait because their soul knows the truth. You cannot heal someone who doesn't want to be healed, and you cannot fix someone whose power depends on staying broken. That is the paradox. The narcissist cannot tolerate being fixed. Healing strips away their illusions, their masks, and their control. So instead of finding comfort in the empath's presence, they often feel exposed, threatened, and frustrated. This is why so many narcissists push away those who genuinely care for them. To accept healing would mean to give up the very manipulation they survive on. In the end, the healing energy of rare empath women is not loud or forceful, but it is unstoppable. It restores balance where there is chaos, it rebuilds where there is destruction, and it protects where there is vulnerability. It is the quiet storm the narcissist cannot overcome, because no matter how much darkness they carry, light always wins.
One of the most mysterious and powerful abilities rare empath women carry is something that almost feels supernatural: the gift of intuitive foresight. This isn't about predicting the future in a mystical sense. It's about sensing energy, reading patterns, and knowing intentions long before they are spoken. While others might fall for smooth words or carefully crafted charm, an empath can feel the truth hidden beneath the surface. It's as if their spirit whispers to them, "Be careful, this is not what it seems." This gift is devastating to narcissists. Why? Because narcissists thrive on deception. Their entire strategy is built on manipulation, on tricking others into believing lies, and on creating illusions to mask their true intentions. But with an empath woman, their game rarely gets off the ground. She can sense the hesitation in their voice, the small inconsistencies in their story, the hidden energy behind their eyes. While others might need time to see the red flags, she notices them instantly. And once she sees, the power of the narcissist weakens, because their control depends on secrecy. What makes this foresight so unique is that it's not rooted in suspicion or paranoia. It's rooted in empathy and awareness. Rare empath women don't go around distrusting everyone. They simply know when something doesn't feel right. Their intuition works like an inner compass, guiding them away from danger and toward truth. This makes them nearly impossible to trap because they often see the trap before it's even set. For the narcissist, this is infuriating. They rely on surprise, on catching people off guard, on weaving stories so tightly that no one questions them. But when an empath calmly steps aside, avoiding the snare before it's sprung, the narcissist feels powerless. Their tricks lose effect. Their lies lose strength. Their manipulation collapses before it even begins. This intuitive foresight also empowers the empath to protect others. Many times, she will warn friends or loved ones of dangers they cannot yet see.
She becomes the quiet voice of reason in moments when deception feels convincing. Her gift acts as a shield, not only for herself, but for those around her. And though people may not always listen at first, time often proves her instincts right. The beauty of this foresight is that it doesn't come with arrogance. Rare empath women don't boast about knowing more than others. They simply trust their inner wisdom and allow it to guide them. This humility is what makes their gift even more powerful. They don't seek control, they seek truth. And in a world full of manipulation, truth is the sharpest weapon of all. In the end, the gift of intuitive foresight is what keeps rare empath women 2 steps ahead. It is the reason narcissists cannot fully grasp them, cannot fully trap them, and cannot fully break them. Because by the time the narcissist begins their game, she already knows how it ends.
Resilience is often misunderstood. Many people think it means simply enduring pain or surviving difficulty. But for rare empath women, resilience is something far deeper. It is not just about surviving, it is about transforming. When life throws challenges at them, when betrayal cuts deep, when the narcissist's manipulation tries to break them, they don't crumble, they rise. And this rise is not fueled by anger or revenge, but by spiritual power. Rare empath women carry within them a strength that grows with every storm. Where most people see pain as something to avoid, empaths see it as a teacher. They may cry, they may feel the weight of sorrow, but they do not stay there. Their spirit has a way of gathering the broken pieces and turning them into wisdom. This is something narcissists will never understand, because narcissists avoid pain at all costs. They run from it, deny it, and hide behind masks to cover their wounds. Empaths, on the other hand, embrace the wound, heal it, and become stronger because of it. This resilience terrifies the narcissist. Their usual goal is to destroy, to crush confidence, to weaken spirit, to make someone doubt their worth. And for a moment, they may succeed. But what they don't expect is the rebound. The empath, through her spiritual grounding, doesn't just recover, she grows brighter, wiser, and more untouchable than before. Every attempt to weaken her only strengthens her. Every attempt to silence her only deepens her voice. Every attempt to shatter her only reveals how unbreakable she truly is. The secret lies in her connection to the spiritual. Rare empath women draw strength from something greater than themselves. They trust the process, even when it is painful. They believe there is purpose in the suffering, lessons hidden in the darkness, and growth waiting on the other side of trials. This spiritual trust allows them to carry burdens without being consumed, to face betrayal without losing hope, and to stand tall even after being pushed to the ground. Narcissists cannot comprehend this. Their world is shallow, built on control, image, and illusions of power. They crumble when faced with exposure, collapse when their mask slips, and break when the truth comes too close. To see someone not only withstand their worst, but transform because of it, is something they cannot tolerate. It reflects their own weakness, their own inability to handle pain, and their deep fear of being powerless. In the end, resilience through spiritual power is what makes rare empath women undefeatable. They don't just survive narcissistic abuse, they rise above it, glowing brighter than ever. They become living proof that pain does not define you, but how you respond to it does. And in that response lies their greatest victory.
because every scar tells a story of strength. Every setback becomes a step forward. Every attempt to destroy them becomes the very fire that forges their unshakable spirit. This resilience is not just strength, it is transformation. And it is the very reason no narcissist can ever truly defeat them.
There is a rare kind of power that doesn't need shouting, doesn't need force, and doesn't need to demand attention to be felt. It is quiet, steady, and radiant. That power is authenticity. And for rare empath women, authenticity is not just a trait, it is their weapon. In a world full of masks, games, and illusions, they choose to stand as they truly are. No performance, no manipulation, no hidden agendas. And this very choice is what makes them the greatest threat to narcissists, who build their entire existence on falsehoods. Narcissists live behind masks. They carefully craft images of perfection, superiority, or charm to draw people in and keep them under control. But it is all an illusion, a fragile shell covering deep insecurity and emptiness. Their survival depends on convincing others to believe this mask, to buy into the performance. The moment the mask cracks, their power crumbles. And here's where empath women unknowingly hold the sharpest sword. Their authenticity cuts straight through the illusion. Empath women don't play roles. They embody truth. They are not afraid to show vulnerability, to admit when they hurt, to stand in their flaws while still knowing their worth. This honesty disarms people. It makes others feel safe, seen, and understood. But for a narcissist, it does the opposite. It unsettles them. Because authenticity reflects back to them what they are not. It exposes their lies without a single confrontation. Think about it. When someone refuses to hide, refuses to wear a mask, and refuses to participate in the performance of false appearances, they force others to face themselves. And narcissists cannot bear to face themselves. The empath authenticity is like a mirror, clear, unshakable, and piercing. It shows the narcissist the emptiness behind their charm, the manipulation behind their kindness, and the darkness beneath their light. No words need to be spoken. The truth is simply felt, and it burns. This is why narcissists are often both drawn to and threatened by empath women. On one hand, they crave that light, that realness, because it feels like something they lack. On the other, they cannot stand the fact that her presence reveals their masks for what they are, costumes. So they oscillate between trying to possess her and trying to destroy her, never realizing that what they fear is not her words, but her authenticity itself. But here's the deeper truth. Authenticity is not easy. It is not about walking around without fear or never being wounded. Rare empath women have been tested, betrayed, and broken many times. Their authenticity is born from fire. They know what it feels like to lose themselves in the wrong hands, to question their own worth because of manipulation, and to rebuild themselves piece by piece. That rebuilding is where the weapon is forged. In choosing truth over illusion, they have discovered that their strength doesn't lie in pretending. It lies in being real, no matter the cost. And narcissists cannot fight that. They thrive on manipulation, but authenticity cannot be manipulated. They thrive on false images, but authenticity doesn't wear a mask. They thrive on control, but authenticity breaks free.
The very existence of a woman who refuses to play the game leaves the narcissist powerless. Authenticity also inspires others. This is another reason narcissists fear it. When rare empath women stand boldly as themselves, they give others permission to do the same. They awaken people trapped in the narcissist's web, showing them that they do not need to perform, to shrink, or to pretend. They model the truth. You are enough as you are. This collective awakening pulls away the narcissist's audience, leaving their stage empty. And a narcissist without an audience is nothing. But perhaps the greatest strength of authenticity is its alignment with the spiritual. Empath women know that their worth does not come from worldly applause or false validation. It comes from something higher, something eternal. They ground themselves in truth because they know truth cannot be destroyed. Lies collapse, masks fall, illusions fade, but truth endures. Their authenticity is not just personal, it is sacred, and that sacredness is untouchable.
At first glance, rare empath women may appear gentle, soft-spoken, and endlessly compassionate. They radiate kindness, they listen with patience, and they carry an aura that feels safe and nurturing. To the untrained eye, this softness might look like weakness. Narcissists, in particular, often mistake it as an opportunity, believing they can dominate, manipulate, or control someone so open-hearted. But what they fail to see, until it's too late, is the unseen warrior within. Beneath the tenderness lies a spirit forged in resilience, sharpened by intuition, and protected by a strength that does not roar, but whispers powerfully. The empath woman's warrior spirit is invisible to most because it doesn't manifest in aggression or loud defiance. It exists in silence, in discernment, in the choices she makes to guard her soul. This is what makes her so dangerous to narcissists. While they thrive on conflict, chaos, and drama, she disarms them not by playing the same game, but by refusing to engage. She fights differently, not with swords of anger, but with shields of peace and weapons of truth. And the most unnerving thing for a narcissist is realizing that no matter how hard they push, her strength is deeper than their manipulation. This warrior spirit was not gifted easily. It was earned. Rare empath women often carry scars, lessons from betrayal, heartbreak, and the crushing weight of emotional abuse. They have walked through the darkness, often questioning their worth, their voice, their very place in the world. But instead of breaking them, those trials built their armor. Pain became their teacher. Silence became their training ground. Spiritual connection became their shield. And now, what once tried to destroy them has only awakened the warrior within. The narcissist cannot comprehend this kind of strength. Their entire world depends on surface appearances. Who looks strong, who looks weak, who can be bent, and who can be broken. They look at the empath's softness and assume its fragility. But strength doesn't always look like fire. Sometimes it looks like water, quiet, flowing, unstoppable, wearing down stone over time. The empath's unseen warrior does not need to strike first. She wins by standing firm, by outlasting, by refusing to surrender her soul. Her compassion, too, is a weapon. While narcissists exploit vulnerability, the empath wields compassion with wisdom. She knows when to give, when to hold back, and when to walk away completely. This discernment is not weakness, it is strategy. It is her warrior spirit guiding her to protect her energy, to shield her heart, and to choose her battles wisely. Narcissists cannot stand this because their tactics depend on predictability. They expect tears, explosions, or submission. But when the empath responds with quiet strength and firm boundaries, the narcissist finds themselves powerless. The unseen warrior within also carries truth as a blade. Narcissists operate in lies, twisting reality to suit their control. But the empath, grounded in authenticity and spiritual clarity, cuts through those lies without even trying. She doesn't need to argue or prove. Her very presence, her refusal to wear masks, is enough to reveal what is false. This silent unveiling is one of the greatest defeats a narcissist can face, because their entire existence depends on illusions. And when those illusions collapse, they are left naked in their own emptiness. But perhaps the greatest aspect of this unseen warrior is her resilience. The empath woman does not crumble under pain. She transforms because of it. Every attempt to break her only forges her stronger. Every wound becomes a scar of wisdom. Every fall teaches her how to rise higher. This resilience is not loud or dramatic, but it is unshakable. It is the quiet confidence that says, "You cannot destroy me, because I have already rebuilt myself from ashes." Narcissists fear this deeply. They cannot understand a spirit that grows stronger from pain. For them, exposure means destruction. For the empath, exposure means awakening. And this is the battle they can never win. The unseen warrior within does not fight for dominance, revenge, or validation. She fights for peace, for truth, for her soul. And that kind of fight can never be defeated. It is important to understand that this inner warrior is not born out of hatred. Rare empath women do not carry swords to cut others down. They carry them to defend, to protect, and to stand in their truth. Their strength comes from love, but it is not a blind love. It is a wise love, one that knows where to draw the line, one that refuses to be enslaved by manipulation, and one that sees through the false masks of those who seek to control. And so the unseen warrior within becomes the narcissist's silent downfall, not through battle cries, not through dramatic confrontations, but through endurance, authenticity, and truth. The empath woman does not need to expose the narcissist. Their own actions reveal them. She does not need to break them. Their own illusions collapse under the weight of her unshakable spirit. She does not need to fight for victory. Her very existence is victory. In the end, the narcissist always underestimates the empath. They see softness and mistake it for weakness. But what they encounter time and again is the unseen warrior, quiet yet fierce, gentle yet unbreakable, compassionate yet unstoppable. And it is this warrior, hidden beneath kindness and grace, that ensures the empath will always walk away stronger, while the narcissist is left defeated by the very power they never saw coming.
There is a dimension of strength that cannot be measured in human terms. It is not built on wealth, titles, or worldly influence. It is not loud, nor does it demand recognition. Instead, it flows quietly, like a river beneath the surface, unseen yet unshakable. This strength is divine connection, and for rare empath women, it is the secret that makes them undefeatable. Their closeness to higher spiritual realms gives them wisdom and protection that no narcissist, no matter how cunning, can ever overpower. To understand this, you must first understand what narcissists fear the most. They fear exposure. They fear truth. And above all, they fear powers greater than themselves. Their world is built on illusion, manipulation, and control. They believe they are untouchable as long as they can deceive others into playing their game, but the divine cannot be deceived. And rare empath women, being deeply attuned to this higher realm, walk with a guidance that sees through every mask and every trick. This connection does not come from religion alone. It is a living relationship with the unseen. It is the whisper of intuition that warns her before harm arrives.
It is the sudden clarity that reveals the narcissist's hidden intentions. It is the unshakable peace that settles in her heart when she chooses to walk away from chaos. To the outside world, it looks like wisdom. To the narcissist, it looks like an invisible shield they cannot penetrate. But to the empath woman, it is simply the presence of something greater moving through her. This divine connection is not random. It is forged in the fires of surrender and faith. Rare empath women often find themselves tested by life in ways that force them to lean on the unseen. Betrayals, heartbreaks, and painful endings push them to places where human strength is not enough. And it is in those moments of surrender, where they release control and reach upward, that the divine begins to flow in more powerfully. What once felt like weakness transforms into a sacred bond with higher wisdom, a lifeline that guides them through even the darkest valleys. And here lies the mystery that narcissists cannot comprehend. While they play with shadows, the empath walks in light. While they manipulate with lies, she discerns with truth. While they attempt to control outcomes, she trusts the higher plan. This alignment with the divine places her in a position the narcissist cannot touch, because she is not fighting alone. Her steps are ordered, her path is protected, and her spirit is anchored in a realm that human manipulation cannot invade. The narcissist may try their usual tactics: gaslighting, triangulation, silent treatment, or emotional baiting. But time after time they discover that something about her is different. Their schemes don't land the way they expect. Their control slips through their fingers. Their charm fails to captivate her for long. And when they try harder, the connection she carries only shines brighter. The more they push, the more the divine intervenes, orchestrating situations that unravel their plans and protect her soul. This divine connection also grants wisdom that transcends ordinary perception. Rare empath women seem to just know things: when someone is lying, when danger is near, or when an opportunity is not aligned with their spirit. This is not coincidence, it is spiritual foresight, a gift that flows from their closeness to higher realms. Narcissists who thrive on deception are undone by this gift. They cannot manipulate someone who sees through them before they even speak. They cannot dominate someone who is being divinely guided to step out of their reach. Even more unsettling for narcissists is the peace that radiates from this connection. Most people, when under the weight of manipulation, crack under pressure. But empath women who walk in divine guidance remain grounded. Their calm does not come from ignorance of danger, but from trust in something greater. And nothing frustrates a narcissist more than realizing their chaos cannot disturb her spirit. They lose power because she does not play by the rules of fear. They cannot threaten someone who knows she is divinely protected. This protection doesn't mean she never faces pain. It doesn't mean narcissists never succeed in wounding her. But what it does mean is that no wound becomes permanent. No trap holds her forever. No manipulation defines her life. Because at the end of the storm, her divine connection restores, heals, and lifts her higher than before. The narcissist may win temporary battles, but they can never win the war. For every loss she faces, the divine turns it into wisdom. For every heartbreak, it becomes a doorway to strength. For every betrayal, it becomes proof that she was being redirected to something better. And perhaps the most powerful aspect of this divine connection is the way it exposes the narcissist without a single word. Light doesn't argue with darkness, it simply shines, and the darkness flees. Rare empath women carry this light within them. Their closeness to higher realms makes their very presence confrontational to those who dwell in shadows. Narcissists feel uncomfortable around them, even as they are drawn to their energy, because deep down they know her spirit sees them as they truly are. In the end, the divine connection and guidance of rare empath women is the ultimate force narcissists cannot overpower. It is not about physical strength, loud resistance, or dramatic confrontations. It is about alignment with truth, protection from higher realms, and the unshakable wisdom that comes from walking with the unseen. This is why rare empath women are never truly defeated, no matter what they endure. They are carried, guided, and shielded by something far greater than any human manipulation. And so, while narcissists continue to wear masks, play games, and manipulate illusions, the empath woman simply stands rooted in her divine connection. She does not need to fight loudly. She does not need to prove herself. Her very alignment with higher guidance ensures that every trap set against her eventually collapses, for she walks not in her own power alone, but in the power of something eternal, something no narcissist can ever touch.